y'all, and welcome. You're listening to the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Dawn Johnson, small-town cowgirl with Southern roots, blazing a trail as a Midwest ranch wife, mama, and businesswoman. The mission of Cowgirl Confessions is to share the wonderfully wild and Western life stories of cowgirls from all walks of life. We'll talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to navigating careers, cowboys, kids, and cattle. Legendary cowgirl Dale Evans said it best. Cowgirl is a pioneer spirit, a special brand of American courage. The cowgirl faces life head on, lives by her own lights, and makes no excuses. Cowgirls take stands. They speak up. They defend the things they hold dear. A cowgirl might be a rancher, a barrel racer, a bull rider, or an actress, but she's just as likely to be a checker at the local Winn-Dixie, a full-time mother, a banker, an attorney, or an astronaut. If you're into wet saddle blankets, talks with God, buckets full of laughter, and the life lessons learned in the process, kick off your boots and settle in. I pray these stories encourage, empower, and give you just the leg up you need. Here's to embracing the cowgirl state of mind, no matter how wild and Western life may get along the way. What an exciting podcast this is going to be, y'all. I cannot wait to introduce you to my friend Taylor Steele. It's just one of those God moments where it was so serendipitous how we ever even met, actually. And so for almost 10 years now, I've just been really blessed to call this cowgirl, one of my friends across the miles, and we just pick up right where we left off. And she is just such a gift. I know that y'all are going to enjoy getting to know her today, and so artistic. It doesn't matter what she touches or looks at, like she just can, make it a piece of art. And Taylor, thank you for being here on the podcast.
Oh, of course, Dakota. You're amazing. I feel the same exact way about you. Every time I hear your voice, you make me feel like a home. And it's just, I'm so thankful for you over these years. You've always been such a good sister to me, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh man, absolutely. Well, and today, man, we won't have a shortage of things to talk about, but I think we should probably go back a little bit, because I kind of said, hey, it was a little serendipitous how we met. But I mean, truly, you guys, so crazy how Taylor and I actually met back in, believe it was 2013. I was doing some work for Championship Bull Riding, and on a whim, very last minute, got the opportunity to fly to Arizona and actually be there in person to cover that event. And while I was there, that's when I met Taylor. And then a few months later, she came to Vegas while I was working out there. We got to hang out, and she helped me at one of our area booths, just really kind of got down in the trenches and was that girl that was like, hey, I'm here and I'm here to work. And I'll help you do whatever we need to do to get done. And so just from then, we've kept up over the years as we've grown, our families have grown, job changes, all the things. And she's just she's like a hope dealer. I mean, when I'm having one of those days, Taylor is like the one I can reach out to, or she knows when to reach out to me. It's kind of crazy like that. So Taylor, now that they know how we met, bring us up to speed a little bit on who you are and where the artistic side of you came from.
So, and now, I've had a little issue lately, having an identity crisis, being a full-time mama and trying to still make art. And, who I am, it changes day to day. I think, I'm always trying to push better, push for more, push to learn, making things better and easier for everybody around me. But deep down, I'm an artist. I paint, I create, I make hats, I design hats, I design fabric from my paintings. I pretty much could paint on anything you handed me. I mean, I just recently posted a picture of me painting on a porta potty in that Art of the Cowgirl trailer that got auctioned off, and I just laughed at myself. Like, there's no there's no limit to what I will paint.
I love that.
And so it's just grown and grown, and it's gotten to the point where I'm making things. I make things for my daughter to learn with now. I like to sit and paint with her, and I try and I want to pass that down in a way, because it's been such a therapy for me, to be able to create with my hands. It's changed my life, and hopefully changed the lives of other people around me who have seen my work, or if it's brought a smile to their face, then my job is done. And I think that that's I continue with that throughout my life, and throughout what I grow to be and aspire to be. And that it changes, and I'm learning about myself every single day. So yeah, I might have gotten lost in the question, but that's okay.
No, I can relate to that so much, especially like you said, being a mama, and like it's the most wonderful responsibility, and I hate to even call it a job, but it is. I mean, it is,
It is. It absolutely is.
It's never ending, but it's also I like how you said you're able to share, the artistic abilities you have, and how you're sharing that with your little girl Willow, and she is precious, absolutely precious. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait for our boys, my boys,
I
and
know.
her to get to meet one day.
I know
Um,
it.
it's going to be so special when that happens. But I remember when we first met, thinking how cool it was. You briefly mentioned a minute ago that you can take, whether you're painting, a porter potty, or like you've had some paintings that have, hung in hotels. You've been able to put them on fabric to make scarves, you paint denim. And so I'm really interested, and I think the listeners would be too, just kind of how you didn't let yourself get boxed in and thinking, oh, this is the only medium that I'm going to paint, or how I'm going to do this. Like, how did you go about getting art in a hotel for the first time, or being like, hey, I can get this printed on fabric? Like, what was that whole process like?
It's really interesting. Yeah, I think it started when I was young, and I would draw on things I wasn't supposed to. Or having a lack of something, like not having canvas. So like, hey, I'm gonna go paint my wall really quick, don't let anybody see. Like,
Mm-hmm.
It was a desire to find something different than just canvas. I think I saw things and wanted to make them more, or translate them into something else. And I think that's what happened with the fabric. Is I wanted my work, I saw it more as it was very geometric, that things would come out of me, and saw that as a pattern. And so I wanted it to be a more tangible art, if you will. So like a fabric that can be made into anything, pillows, scarves, you know anything. And I think that being able to reach more people with fabric, or in that respect, having something tangible that's made by my hands, that really excited me. And I remember getting that when I had Spoonflower print my first fabric, and it was one of the most greatest feelings I ever had, when I finally had those in my hand, that it was possible. I was not creating these patterns in the conventional way with Photoshop and Illustrator, and I'm still not. But I was able to get them done with like an app on my phone, and just press and go is really all I could do, and just hoping for the best. And then with the work that was in the hotel and Aloft, I had it in there since 2016. I finally took it all out last year when we decided to leave and go on another adventure. And they had it was, how did that work? It was a friend of mine I worked with at the hotel. I was a bartender at that you stayed at.
Okay.
So this guy was a general manager at this new Aloft hotel. He reached out to me and said, we need artwork. I know you have some. And I said, okay. I brought it all down, and it had been hanging in that Aloft Hotel lobby since 2016. And that was a blessing to see all that. They were such big works. I had no place for them in my apartment at the time. And I was selling them, but they weren't moving, and so I decided to let Aloft have them for a little while and, grace their walls and be able to see a lot of different people from all walks of life coming through Phoenix. And so that was really cool to be able to have those, walk into that building and see those paintings hanging there. And they were great. They always let me have little art receptions, and they always treated me so good. Being able to have that, relationship through my art again is such a blessing. It's been such a ride.
Oh my gosh. Well, and now some of those pictures that were at the Aloft Hotel, are those some of the ones that you ended up selling at Art of the Cowgirl recently?
Yeah, we had put them. So we traveled with our horse trailer. We brought all my stuff in that, and all those big paintings laid up in the bed. And we traveled around with those big things for so long. I ended up actually a gentleman with a little store down in Bozeman. He has one of those paintings, and then I was able to. I kept going. I actually damaged a little bit one of those paintings and was able to repair it enough, and I actually gave it to a really good friend of mine who loved this painting for so many years and always wanted it. And I wanted to give it to her. And so we met halfway where we're at now. And I actually met in Cedar City, Utah, and like on the side of the road. And I, was able to give her that painting, and then she went back home. And so it worked out really well. And then the last one, was actually sold while we were up in Santa Ynez in California after we got evacuated. A nice girl we met. She was one of the servers or bartenders at the hotel next door that we would go and hang out at when we got sick of our own hotel. And she needed some artwork, and I showed her what I had, and she wanted it. And it was, by the grace of God, some money at the time when we had nothing. And so those paintings are all in the homes that they're supposed to be in, and I'm blessed to be able to reach that many people to want them. And not having them is kind of funny because they're kind of a piece of me, but I'm happy they're in safe hands.
Oh yeah, so cool. Just the different people like you shared that have those paintings now. And I want to back up for a minute, Taylor, and because you were talking about when y'all were in Bozeman, and then when you were in Utah, and somebody listening might be like, okay, so where do they actually live, or what do they do? So if you can take us back a little bit to what you and your family have been doing for the past few years, and what has allowed you all these different travel opportunities.
So my husband's a cowboy, and he only wants to be on the back of a horse. And so that's the job he wanted, and that's the job he's done. And we've been traveling all over, mostly the Western United States since it's been since 2016 that we've traveled. We've gone from Prescott to Yosemite to Oracle down near Tucson to Sonoyta to Moab, to Goleta right outside of Santa Barbara. And then now we are finally here in Salina, Utah. We had previously, back in July, he accepted a foreman position out at a ranch in Goleta, California. And we got settled in there, had a cute little house that looked over the water. I mean, dreams that you can't even imagine. And things we never thought were attainable were right there at our fingertips. And we were getting settled, and Willow and I had gone out this one particular day. It was October 11th. We went out and we went to the beach, and we took pictures and picked flowers and went to the grocery store, and we were coming home, and Joey calls me. I had just pulled up, and we lived up on top of this rugged little hill, and he calls me and he's like, hey, I don't want you to panic, but I need you to start packing some stuff. I pack stuff for everybody, get everybody's food, get everybody's what we need for the next week. There's a fire in the next canyon. It's called the Alisol fire. And so we started packing. I started packing everything for us, and Joey was down at the bottom of the hill. It was like a 2-mile, I think, uphill. He came riding up, and we had some horses up in this big pen near our house that I would feed when they would get days off. And so he rode up to let these horses out, and then I haltered ours so he could lead ours down because they weren't integrated with the rest of the herd. So I let those horses go. I handed off ours, and down the mountain he went, and I packed us up, and down the mountain I went, and we ended up evacuating over 60 horses to different pastures down the road, a little bit further outside of the evacuation area. And we also had 30 horses at the Santa Barbara Fairgrounds. And so I'll tell you what, having 30 big ranch horses stalled for 2 weeks, that is a feat and a half. But we got everybody out. The Santa Barbara Equine Evac crew, they are all angels. They came to our rescue. They're in cahoots with the sheriff and all the officials out there, and they send out people. They send out and say, hey, we got a fire. We need to evacuate animals and livestock. And people start showing up at your doorstep with trailers to help and take your animals wherever they need to go. And it is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Joey and I didn't know how this worked. We're from Arizona. We weren't used to these kind of wildfires or where we were at. And this is a thing that they're ready. They ended up losing multiple houses on the property. 17,000 or more acres were burned all around in that area. Joey ended up losing his job because of this. We lost our house because of this. And so then after we got the horses at the fairgrounds to a safe spot after the fairgrounds, they no longer needed human care. They were actually finally on pasture and were able to survive out there without us. We said our goodbyes to everybody at the ranch who was still there. And I'm talking cowboys that are 70 years old wanting to go down with the ship and not having anywhere else to go. And that's the tragedy. It's not about me and Joey. We're young, we're resilient, we can get back up and go get a new job. But there was men who had been given their lives to this ranch for I don't know how long, multiple different guys. And they're in their 70s. They don't have anywhere else to go. And the devastation that I feel for them, my heart goes out to them, and all I do is pray every day that they're okay and that they still put their boots on and their hats on and still go and get up and have their coffee, whether they get on the back of that horse or not. And so it's been incredible, the outpour of help we had. The American Red Cross helped every single person for weeks. They fed us, they housed us, they helped immensely. We had friends. I asked for donations because we were really close to draining every cent. And just by trying that, it's expensive to be homeless. It is very expensive to be homeless. And it's amazing how many people will come to your rescue if you ask. If you surrender yourself and you say, I need help, please help, people come. And they have all been absolute angels in my life, and I'm gonna cry.
Oh, girl,
those people really saved us, and we're so blessed now. Joey and I, we both accepted positions with Burns Saddlery in Salina, Utah. They've been in business since 1876, and they make all handmade boots, hats, saddles, bracelets, silver. The list goes on, and it's not stopping. And we are so blessed to be here. We were able to find a house where our horses can be with us, and jobs that we both can call our own that work with our schedule. And I can't, there's nothing more that needs to be said other than we're okay. And it's been an amazing journey to be able to say that we're okay now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It just, as you're like taking me through, just the trying to get all those horses evacuated and all the things, it's so easy, I feel like, for all of us to be like, oh, it's okay, we're going to shake it off, we're going to keep going, like, because you're just a positive person in general, like, and that's one of the things I love about you. But sometimes, like, life just gets hard, and life is, you get dealt cards that you didn't ask for, and you just have to figure out how to get through them. And like you said, just knowing when to ask, and just surrender. And what a powerful story, and how he has placed you guys there in Salina, Utah now. And it sounds like you are right where you need to be with Burns Saddlery. And what are you doing specifically now for Burns Saddlery?
So right now I just started in the silversmith department. It's been incredible. I just started. I worked for the past 3 days with these incredible craftsmen, a couple of really amazing people that have shown me amazing skills in leatherworking and silver. And I can't tell you how much I've learned in the last 3 days. I'll be helping build the jewelry. I'll be soldering. I'll be putting together, making bracelets, the bracelets that they sell with the, there's so many different amazing, cute, they call them their exotic bracelet collection. And they've got silver on top with a little snap, and I'll be hand making all of those. And they're all custom order. Every single thing is handmade in this roof and under this roof. And the amount of craftsmen that are there, it's truly incredible to be surrounded by so many artisans and so many people who love to make. So I'm learning. I'm learning and doing anything and everything they need is what I'm doing. But I'll be doing anything that requires putting together jewelry, putting together bracelets, and it's a wild ride to see myself here, knowing so long I've wanted a creative job and it being placed at my footsteps.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. And so do you think that now with this, skill set, and then, just the artistic side of you leading into this, are we going to see you at Art of the Cowgirl this next year?
The one in January, I don't know if we'll be able to make it to that, but if there's a spring one, I will definitely be able to make it to that. I don't know if time will work for the January.
Sure.
I would love to, because it's in it's in our home state, and we haven't missed a single Art of the Cowgirl in Arizona yet. But I'll keep you posted if I come up that I can go.
Yeah, please do. It's on my bucket list. I definitely want to be able to attend that at some point. And can you tell us a little bit about that? Because you did an Instagram takeover for the Cowgirl Confessions podcast when you were at the last Art of the Cowgirl. So just tell us what it was like to have your boots on the ground there around that many, incredible horsewomen.
Oh, it's incredible. It's such an amazing place. It's such an amazing feeling to be surrounded by such an incredible team. Tammy's team of ladies, they really know how to put on a show. And what you're able to learn, and more of learning. I mean, you never stop learning, you guys, You can go and make moccasins, you can go and make boots, you can go and paint, you can go and you can sign up for all of these different things at Art of the Cowgirl and be able to make something afterwards. These masters will teach you how to do these specific, crafts that they've perfected over years. And these workshops, I mean, I highly recommend these workshops that they put on. You can't find better ladies to learn from. If that's a horsemanship clinic, you want to go sit and watch that. Even if you know nothing about it, it's positive in every single aspect to be surrounded and knowing all these ladies work so hard to get where they're at. And it's pretty incredible to have so much genius around.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually look and pay attention, it's everybody's similar. They're all making, and that's what I think is the coolest. And they're all sharing their crafts, and that's what's even better.
Yeah, just having that infinite mindset, and wanting to teach and educate others and just see our Western way of life grow.
Absolutely. I know a lot of makers. I've asked a lot of makers over the years. I've always wanted to make hats. I've always wanted to build hats. And I've asked so many hat makers over the years, will they teach? Will they teach? Will they teach? And most of them will say no. I've had a couple I've had one who was willing to take me in, actually, in Santa Ynez, and he was willing to show me the ropes, and that would have been really cool, but we weren't meant to be there. So but the fact that people are willing to teach and people are willing to share their craft, that's what's going to make the world go round. If all these people die off with their skills in their back pockets, that's terrible for the next generation and the next generation. What kind of crafts are we going to have to pass down? Like, people need to know the art of saddle making. People need to know the art of boot making. I mean, people need to know how to train their horse, know how to work with their horse.
Yeah.
And you can get all that over there at old Art of the Cowgirl. I mean, that's a great place to be a part of, I tell you what.
Oh man. Well, I so appreciate, like I said, you doing that Instagram takeover for us when you were there. It was really, really cool for those of us who couldn't be there in attendance. And Taylor, you were mentioning earlier some of your horses, and so tell us a little bit about your horse and what you enjoy doing whenever you are in the saddle. What would be a perfect day for you?
Well, my husband and I, we met, Joey and I, we started riding together on the same horses we have now, Cheyenne and Calvin. Cheyenne's almost 19. She's a quarter horse bay. She's my favorite thing on the planet. And her silly younger brother, Calvin, he's about 12. We started riding those horses for miles and miles. We'd go 15 miles in a day, and all through Arizona mountains, all through Cave Creek. We'd pack, we'd go for days. And that's what we started doing. That's how we fell in love. I was a bartender and he worked in the mornings, and I'd drive up to his house and we'd take those horses and we'd go in midnight and watch the shooting stars above our heads while we rode these horses. And it's been so incredible. Just being on the back of my
magical
horse. It was. You can imagine why we're still together. Why I was like, okay, this will be fine.
Yeah,
I'll stick with this. I like what we're doing. This is fun. I mean, it's my fault. I saw him on Facebook with his horse, his big paint horse, standing there in the middle of the desert with some saguaro cactuses behind him and the mountain backdrop. And I literally messaged him like a crazy person and said, "What are you doing? How are you doing that? And can I come?" I'm not even kidding. And he said, "Yeah, come on up. I've got a horse for you."
Yeah. Everybody's not a creeper that does that. See, good things can come out of Facebook sometimes. Like those weird creeper messages are not always creeper. So
I mean, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not ashamed.
Oh gosh. I love your honesty.
Well, it's true. And hey, I mean, look at where we're at now. We have a beautiful baby girl. We have our horses and our dogs, and we travel the country, and we just kind of live by our own rules. And if it doesn't fit us, if it doesn't fit right for us, then we don't stay. But if we find the worthiness of it, and if it fits for us, then we stay, and we rock it harder than anything. And we've just traveled so much, because most jobs were seasonal, some jobs were terrible. Some jobs were great. Some jobs you get lied to about things that you're going to go do. And then some things, they turn out exactly the way they're going to be. But it's just, the ride, you got to enjoy it. And, my horses have helped me see that. And they've helped me in so many ways to take a step back and just take my time about things, and not be so much in a rush and so anxious to get to the next thing. And I'm really trying to figure out how to be that person and not be so anxious about everything.
Aren't we
always
all?
Right?
Yeah, I feel like probably all of us listening, like there's just the world is always in such a hurry, and it's so easy to get caught up in that. I feel like more and more I have to be more intentional about slowing down than ever before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the intention. And I know you have so much on your plate, Dakota. You got 2 beautiful boys, and you got that husband of yours, and you got some cows, and you've got a full-time job that's fit for many many people that you fill shoes for. And I know that the anxiety takes over so much, but if we can just keep on moving, keep on pushing, and have each other, and root for each other from the sidelines, and know we're all not alone, I think is like the most beautiful blessing to continue forth with. I mean, just knowing you're not alone in the struggle. We're all struggling, but we don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. That's so good. And thank you for your kind words, Taylor. I really appreciate you so much. And I'm excited about this new opportunity for you and Joey and Willow and the family at Burns Saddlery. I know that, like you said, when you find somewhere that you fit and that you love, you rock it. And I know that y'all are just going to rock it here with this new adventure and all that you're learning. And I tell you, Taylor, this whole podcast is dedicated to just sharing that cowgirl state of mind with women across the globe. And you've shared so much of that cowgirl state of mind with us today, and just how you've overcome, really a recent tragedy and move forward, and you're continuing to learn and grow your skill set. So I'd love to know, what does that phrase, the cowgirl state of mind, what does that mean to you?
Oh, girl, it means keeping your head up, smiling loud, and keep on riding as fast as you can, though. But give some hugs on the way while you're going. It means a lot of different things. And being a friend, I think, is also a part of it. And you're a perfect definition of that. And I'm so thankful for you.
Well, just thank you so much, Taylor. And if people want to connect with you and, learn more about your art, purchase some of the art that you're making and everything, how can they do that?
Absolutely. On Instagram, I am at TA5TE. It's TA, the number 5TE. I should probably have changed that a long time ago, but my website is just taysteele.com. You can always just email me, taysteele@gmail.com, or reach out in any way, shape, or form. I'd be happy to custom work for anybody, or design stuff for anybody. I do all kinds of stuff. The options are limitless.
That's the beauty of it. When I think of you, you can't fit you in a box, girlfriend. You cannot. And that is such a gift to all of us. And just thank you for sharing part 2 of your story today here on the podcast. And I look forward to the day that we get to see each other in person again.
I can't wait, Dakota. It'll be the best day of my life.
Thanks, friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your time with me on the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm so glad y'all stopped by. If you could take a moment to share this episode and tag us on social media, I'd be happier than a cowgirl in a sea of buy one, get one vintage turquoise. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss an episode. New episodes will be released bi-monthly. Please leave us a review if you feel so led by going to iTunes. Your feedback will really help us breed the idea of grabbing life by the horns with a cowgirl state of mind into women across the globe. Some that may have never even had the privilege to throw their leg over a horse, but could most certainly use the cowgirl state of mind while navigating life. Thanks again, y'all. Until next time, keep pursuing your dreams with that all go and no woe mentality. Remember, you're writing a story that's worth saddling up for, sister.